This video is made possible by our patrons. Hello and welcome to Wargamer Online, and today we are looking at Warga City. It's absolutely stunning, it's amazing, the models are beautiful. Big thank you to Games Workshop for sending us a review copy.
Yeah.
Blown away by it. You've worked really hard, you've built all the models. So one of the things we're going to be doing today is having a look at the built models.
Yes, yeah. I've pretty much spent, well, most of today and a bit of
60 something models?
something like that.
60 odd models. Big trade for. We'll be looking at that.
Skeletons, zombies, heroes, bats, rats, everything.
So hello and welcome live to our patrons, of course. We're doing this live for our patrons. I can see the Martins are in there. So we've got Martin Champion, Martin Dix, and Twisted Bishop's in there as well, with hype levels intensifying. They are. Yeah, it's very hype-like.
Definitely.
If you're watching this on YouTube, of course, you're watching it back. We did this as a live show for our patrons. If you want to know more about becoming a patron, click on the links. They're all over the place, little buttons and things like that. Check out the description or whatever. Any support is appreciated. But enough of that. Let's get into this, because this is what it's all about. I'm going to click on this. Look at this. It's here. It's in our hands. And the audio's working, I believe, as well. Yeah, I hope so. Let's lift the lid then. Oh, it's so heavy. Wait a minute, there's nothing in there. What have we done? Well, that's because it came like that. But it came like that like 24 hours ago. And we immediately took all of that out. I'm trying to throw the box behind me.
Just throw
knocked it all over. Jack, move. Don't break the box. Now what have I done? So that's what it came like. Loads and loads of models inside. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah, this two colour plastic to kind of, so you can tell the difference if you're not going to paint these models up, so you can easily tell the difference between the heroes and the baddies, I guess.
The baddies slash
vampires.
Who knows?
Who knows? Depends what.
From my opinion.
From my perspective, it's Sigmar who's evil.
Okay, yeah. Enough Star Wars memes. Let's move on. Okay, so we open the box up. There's a bag full of stuff, which we're going to be looking at shortly. But what we wanted to do was have a quick look at the models on sprue before we start looking at the models. So what we kind of did was I took some stills of the sprues before we dived into it. There's a couple of interesting things going off with these sprues. First and foremost, this is an ogre, and if you look at his war scroll for Age of Sigmar, for the game Age of Sigmar, not for Curse City, this is a Cities of Sigmar ogre. So there's a couple of bits you can see on there. These are the ogre bits. That's an ogre arm there. That's another ogre arm.
I mean, you were saying something quite interesting about the model. Something we'll kind of look at more on the 3D model, but he's a lot more humanish in his features than the Moor tribes one. He hasn't got this big plump belly with these kind of comically large muscles and this comically large face.
Yeah.
He is very much more kind of humanoid in features. He's got large rippling muscles and quite a slim belly compared to kind of the fat that you get from the ogre Moor tribes.
So he's definitely not an ogre Moor tribe. He's an ogre. And by the way, every single one of these models, I won't be surprised if you start seeing those in Golden Demon painting and stuff like that, because each one of the models are beautiful, but we'll get into that in a second. Also on there we can see the Caradron Overlord model as well. Let's just point that out. Jumping into the next sprue, what have we got here? Well, I've drawn a box somehow. But let's move that across a bit. There you go. So a bunch of stuff in here, mainly humans,
The rest,
but there is the Kanofi on there as well.
Yes, so you have the elven Kanofi, and then apart from that, I think they're all human. You've kind of got the armoured Knight of Azir with her big broadswords and kind of plate armour, kind of paladin-esque. You've got the very strange Death Mage with this super long beard, which definitely isn't just going to snap instantly, but is amazing. You have another human who is kind of a priest, the healer of the group, and she's got that crazy big neck piece.
Yep.
And then you've kind of got a rogue trader, Sigmar's version of a rogue trader, like an explorer with his pistol and his flashy coat all over him, and he's amazing. And of course, you cannot forget to mention the Witch Hunter.
Oh,
Probably my favourite in it all. The vampire stakes, the musket with a stake in it and its hammer, and a beautiful broadsword as well. Kind of the Knight Templar-esque broadsword.
All of that squished onto a standard box size sprue. I'm going to call it a standard box size, like half an A4.
Yeah.
A5. That kind of size.
Yeah, you do want to be careful when handling these sprues, because especially kind of if you look at the Kernothi with her arrow, there is nothing supporting the arrow. No, that one there. There was a couple of times I almost twanged that off. So be careful when you're kind of operating this, let's say. Kind of throughout it all, to be honest, there's like fiddly bits everywhere, but to be honest, it's forgiven by how beautiful the models actually are.
It's just utterly stunning. This entire sprue is beautiful. Every single piece, just the detail on it. I'm going to zoom in on stuff because we can show stuff, at a fairly high quality here. Just even the book there, the little
tattered tome.
Mate, honestly, there's so much going off on this sprue. It's quite incredible, really. Just the weapons with the stake launcher underneath.
Yeah,
it's just absolutely amazing. And the backpack, this square sword hilt, by the way, that's on the back of the
Witch Hunter.
The Witch Hunter,
that
isn't
is
it?
the Witch Hunter sword. Yeah,
stunning. The Kernothi, of course, the hair of the Kernothi. Very excited about Kernothi, by the way. Another 10,000 units of those, please. DW. Would be nice. Right, okay, but let's move on. Because it's not the only thing we get in here. Here's the big guy himself.
Yeah, very nice. And again, kind of, we thought he was an ogre, and I think a lot of people did think he was an ogre, but he's not. He is just I think he's a vampire dude, but he's kind of got this super cool Russian aesthetic to it, with the fluffy hat and his long beard and kind of the jewel wolf pelts over him.
Yeah, he's got that.
He is amazing.
Real Cossack feel to him, basically.
Yes, yeah.
And I think the thing I want to point out here is the reason we're saying, he's not an ogre, he is just a big dude, he's a big vampire dude, is we're basing it on the keywords that are inside the Age of Sigmar War Scrolls, which we'll come back to that shortly. Okay, moving on, a whole raft of stuff on here then.
So this is mainly all the special characters and whatnot. So you have the massive Varg. It's not a Vargeist, it's like a Vargoyle. Vargskaya, yes, the big feral vampire. I think a lot of Flesh Eater Courts players out there are going to be happy that they can use this in place of the Vargeist model that's available at the minute, kind of that nasty resin one.
The detail
but
on this model.
Beautiful. I really like how it's kind of got that long-limbed, hunched back. The fur on it's an amazing detail.
Stunning. And again, although push fit kits, I'm just going to say this now, the first thing we do is snip those pins off. There is plenty of contact surface for you to glue these together like a traditional model. So do yourself a favour, snip all the pins off. Don't even try and push them together based on the pins. The models are incredibly detailed, and if you want a nice tight fit between each size, just snip the pins off. You don't need them for alignment. The things go together perfectly anyway. So I just want to point out this leg here, which we'll have a look at. We'll have a look at. So this is the commander, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll have a look at this on the built model, but that leg there is absolutely brilliant how it layers up on the model. So we'll be coming back.
Yeah, there's some very clever cutting in the way kind of they've cut the models up to get maximum detail out of it.
I mean, besides, we can't really go anywhere without just having a quick look at
big
that
shovel.
shade, the big shovel.
It's amazing. He is such a good
shovel.
character.
It's beautiful. But saying that, the reason I wanted to highlight this is, honestly, I think this is Games Workshop at their best. Everything from how it's been positioned on the sprues to the quality of the sculpts, it's just insane.
They always knock it out of the park with their Warhammer Quest stuff.
True.
Blackstone Fortress was amazing. This
absolutely
is being a worthy follow-up.
You get 2 of these, so
yes.
Everything you see here, you get 2 of on the sprue. These bats are absolutely stunning. The rats are incredible, little sort of plague rats.
They're like zombie rats.
But not forget the zombie strays, they're called as well, or something like that. And essentially, they are zombie cats. So you've got
Yes.
zombie rats and zombie cats.
Yeah,
and
I
zombie
think they're
bats.
kind of meant to be familiars for whoever the kind of the necromancer guy is with all the animals that he resurrects and stuff. I think they're kind of familiars for him.
That's one half of one. I'm trying to find the other half. But we'll look again. We're going to look at the models because Jack's taken the time to build all of these things. And I think that's it. Because like I say, you get 2 of those sprues. You know, once we'd kind of pulled the models out, there was, there's plenty of plastic in there for sure. And there's a quick sneak peek of us as they were on the desk as we started to put these together.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to say kind of this skeleton, the construction on the skeletons, even though everything about the kit, kind of once you got past the heroes, the construction of the smaller stuff was really simple. It's just front and back, stick it together, but you still get like, you can't really see it, but super high quality detail with
insane,
it.
insane.
The bones being able to form, and there is a semblance of customization, so you kind of have multiple choices on what back and what front will stick together, so they're not all just looking the same, they are different.
Do we talk value for money? £120, 60 models, £2 a model. Even if you just base it on that, £2 a model. Forget it. It's brilliant.
Yeah. You know, when you think kind of Games Workshop nowadays, they charge like £20 for a character hero. So kind of like something like that would come out would kind of be like 15-20 quid.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, brilliant value for money.
I tell you what I want to do. I want to jump into trying to work out where the table cam is. There it is. let's get this back up and running. So we take this away because that's what was protecting the models. Nice, deep, dark, scary background. Blood dripping down the screen. Well, by the way, before we go too far, and I saw it in the comments somewhere in there, and I think it was it Martin Dix who said, yes, artwork is amazing, to be honest, pretty gritty. This gritty artwork is beautiful.
Yes, yeah.
Utterly stunning. Martin Champion as well saying, thought he was a vampire ogre. Exactly. Yeah. It certainly lacks the
I
ogre
remember
keyword.
reading something on one of the Warhammer Facebook pages about somebody asking if he was an ogre, and they said no, so I'm not quite sure. But then again, for some reason, I remember them saying he is, but who knows?
Secret card. Do not open until the
it.
final assault. Decapitation journey has been completed.
I really like that.
There you go. I love that. That's a big part of the wow. I'm trying to remember the name. Warhammer Quest.
Yes.
Thing.
Yeah. It was in Darkstone Fortress.
Book of War Scrolls, and again, this is why we're really saying, okay, so this is where we're getting the keywords from. So let's just have a quick look at this. Of course, we see the Kanofi and stuff like that, but if I can find the ogre, there he is. Ogre, just the ogre, not ogre more tribes, cities of Sigmar. So there you go, an ogre you can put in your city's army, which I love. I just love. I want a unit of them. But if we go to Radakar the Wolf, you will note Deaf, Vampire, Soul Blight, Hero, Wizard, Vampire Lord, Radakar the Wolf. Saying that, he lacks any kind of race keyword. So
true,
so maybe he is a vampire ogre, but maybe not. Who knows? He's a big guy. Either way, he's a big guy. The only thing I'd say about it is when you look at the 2 models side by side, and we'll cover this against the ogre, his dimensions are different. Whilst he's as tall as an ogre, he is somewhat slimmer. His feet are smaller, his legs are smaller, his arms are smaller. So no, I'm not going.
Yeah, and this is the thing as well. The Koshagi Night Guards, the 2 big zombies, they do have the ogre keywords. So you think if he was an ogre, they would give him the keyword. They'd just give it the keyword.
Here we go, some crazy dice. Lots and lots of crazy dice with lots and lots of crazy symbols. A lot of custom dice, by the way, which again, good value for money. You don't, to see custom dice at this level inside a box.
From what I'm aware, the dice function similar to things like X-Wing and Star Wars Legion, in which you kind of have fail, success, and critical successes to kind of just keep the game simpler when you're playing something like this, because at the end of the day, this is a board game as well, so people who aren't big war gamers will be wanting to play this. So I think it's a way to keep it simple and streamlined.
Good news is dice were in the box. Recently bought a dice game off Amazon called Farkle.
Had no dice.
Had no dice. A dice game that had no dice.
I know. What are you going to do?
Well, the thing is, I could have sent it back, but Oh, by the way, if you've never played Farkle, that's a recommendation off Age of Sigmar recommendation. But a recommendation. Foggle's a great ice cream. Here we go. Here's the cards for the units. Again, utterly beautiful. Great artwork.
Really
loving
nice
the corpse
cards.
rats. Let's just go through this. This is the Orphan Watch. Then we've got the Bat Swarms, Corpse Rat, Dead Walker Zombies. And then we've got the Bloodborne, which are these
kind of like these weird feral vampires.
Yep.
Big
The
ogre zombies.
Kasagi, Cossack, Night Guards, which of course are the ogres. Lumbering big dudes. Then we've got the Vargskaya, and the Watch Captain, which we'll come back to in terms of the model, because that was the leg I was referring to. Then we've got Tor Gilius, or Gilius. We'll go with Gilius, Tor Gilius. The Chamberlain, and of course the Gorslav, the Gravekeeper. What a lad. And then Radikar the Wolf, of course. All fantastic. Then going into the main characters you play in the game.
Yeah, I am going to say you kind of are looking, because both cards are double-sided.
Oh, of course, because you've got an empowered
and normal. So
Good
there
point.
are two sides to each
Good
card
point.
with different stats.
Here we go. Brutog, the Corpse Eater. Great backstory to him. He ate a rotting corpse as a bet when he was a young'un. Churned his stomach over, but he kept it down because obviously he'd done it as a bet, and got an acquired taste for rotting flesh, basically. Whether it's an acquired taste or whether he just does it to gross everybody else out seems somewhat... There's a great quote from him, said, "Tried eating a ghost once. Rubbish." Didn't get on with that. Big pack of weapon cards and all the rest. So
Yeah,
again,
these are kind of like little bits you can find around the as you're playing the games.
Crikey, there's so much going off in here. Jack, do you even know what they do?
I think they're initiative tokens.
Initiative tokens.
So
okay,
you know
cool.
what initiative people are going at.
And then we've got traits, which you can level up. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And then discovery.
And these are
is
kind
where
of
you're finding
treasures
stuff
that
around
you
it.
can
So let's just take a little one. Glow Sand Hourglass. A hero with this treasure card can use it any time during their activation. When this treasure card is used, to move the Nightfall token counterclockwise one space, then discard it. Nightfall token, Jack, is an important mechanic in this game, isn't it?
Yeah, so kind of as you're playing the game, night begins to encroach, and if you move that out of the way a sec, because you can see this is, as it goes around, it begins to get darker and darker and darker and darker until nightfall happens, and then it
it's poopy pants time,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Basically,
You don't want to be in the cursed city at night time. Let's just say that.
Poopy pants time. Great. Let's quick look at the book, but you know what? Let's revisit the book before the end. But this is where you get all the fantastic background story to the characters and the little quotes and all those kind of things.
These are also the mission packs.
Yeah, and of course, and there you've got the Caradron Overlord, Jensen Darroch. It's very, very cool, very nice artwork, lovely bit of background and lore. I know that amongst the old fantasy crowd, Age of Sigmar gets a bad rep in terms of its lore, but I mean, personally, I disagree, and that's okay. That's my prerogative. I love the lore to Age of Sigmar, and I love the fact that it's constantly getting expanded out. Ate one of them Geists once, wasted time, don't think I'll bother next time. Oi, grab that dead vulture out the gutter, would ya?
It's pretty grim. It's quite grim.
No, at all.
It just munches on dead. It's quite nasty.
And then at the bottom of the box, besides a million Jiffy bags, are they Jiffy bags? I think they're called Jiffy bags. Zip bags, Ziploc bags, whatever you call these things. A whole bunch of those for you to put your stuff in once you've... could you dispatch that? Once you've obviously broke the foil on everything. I'm just going to dangerously snip these cards open. This could be... Oh, I shouldn't have done that on a live show, should I? Because I'm rushing. Here we go. Martin Dick says, love the efforts on these models. Martin Champion saying, would love to play a Lumineth hero in Curse City. The Lore Seeker would be great. Too right.
It would be quite cool if they kind of added, for other characters throughout Sigmar, if you could then start playing them in Curse city.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope they expand it out. They certainly expanded Blackstone Fortress.
Yeah,
out.
I think they could do
I don't see why we won't
like,
see new creatures.
Yeah, like mission packs and stuff and things like that for it would be cool.
Yeah, a couple of nice comments actually. Martin Champion said would love to play Lumineth. I think I've read that one already. Twister Bishop, I think Age of Sigmar has turned into their most interesting game. I am with you, Mr. Bishop. And Martin says the lore is great. I like that the lore is so intertwined with releases and it's moving forward. Agreed. Every time you pick up a new battle tome, there's something an exciting expansion in there. What have we got? Whole bunch of Punch-Out stuff. So we've got the time token and all the rest. This is all double-sided. It's impressive stuff, isn't it?
Good stuff.
It's great. It's great. Little ruler in there. Is that a ruler? I think it's a ruler.
No, that's not a ruler. That is where you can like slot your cards under to tell you the initiative order.
Ah, my, you've been doing some reading. Here we go into the rooms. What I always wanted to do for Blackstone Fortress was to create the map in 3D. We've got a bunch of stuff as well. I'd love to do this, where you turn this into a 3D game sort of thing. It'd be absolutely fantastic, wouldn't it? But saying that, you don't really need to. The artwork is absolutely beautiful, and it's stunning, and it's very atmospheric. Really like the use of light and dark.
Fits the theme of it.
So we're not going to go through all of this, but what's interesting to say is how big this game can get. This is a dining table affair, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is okay. You don't need the 6x4, but 4 sheets of this. Even if you were to lay it all out, and obviously you get rooms slotting onto rooms. This is a full-on dining table job. So this is a big game.
Yeah, and kind of, I think it's quite cool with how you can like interlock them all, and it kind of, you have corridors and narrower parts, and then big rooms you go into, big boss battles and stuff.
Very nice.
It looks
dump
good.
that to one side for a second. We've just got the book. Let's have a quick look at the quest book, and then we're going to dive into the models a little bit more, I think. So, as we said, you've got the character rules. Going for. I don't want to say too much of this, but here's a bunch of the crises.
Yeah,
crises.
they can happen as you're trying to escape, and a crisis will happen, and you'll all have to turn around and go back in and help them out before being able to leave.
Yeah, individual characters end up in a crisis and you have to help them out.
Yeah, and one thing about this is your actions do have consequences. So somebody could be calling for help and you could choose to ignore it.
Help.
And whilst that keeps your character safe, it can increase fear within the city, and if fear increases, then the civilians won't be helping you and stuff. They'll want you to go away, and it makes the rest of the campaign harder.
I love this. Martin just said, that being said, it is somehow hard to imagine an ordinary citizen in the mortal realm's life expectancy must be low, along with they're definitely going to milk it with expansions. Well, good. I'm looking forward to the expansions. As for life expectancy, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you also get bits in the lore that says, for 60 years, nothing happened in this city. It was good.
Yes, yeah.
But then there are other places that are just hotbeds of...
You kind of think the major cities like Hammerhal and stuff just aren't meant to be touched, are they? They're just too big to touch. But yeah, if you're like a little lowly villager out in Shaiish, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Keep your head down. A whole bunch of stuff going off in there along with some of the missions, and that's just an example of the layout. We wanted to show that because, again, that's a fairly expansive table. I'd say that's a 3x4 space, something like that, maybe 2x3 by the time you've laid those rooms out like that, so you get an idea of the size of the game. Really like it. We'll talk a little bit just about the War Scrolls. We were interested in this, but they're never great. Let's face it. You can take them in your game, but they're not so competitive that you go, I must take them in the game. The first thing I jumped to was the Knophy, and let's just have a quick look at this. 24-inch range, 3s and 3s, 3 attacks, -1 rend. It's not bad, but it's not a character sniper or anything like that. You're sinking 100 points into a hero that kind of doesn't do a lot on the table, and in combat, certainly not as good.
Interesting how you can take her in a Sylvaneth army.
Does mortal wounds. Yeah, it goes into a Sylvaneth army. That's what I'd say. I'd love to see Knophy as an expansion anyway. I'd like to see them expanded out. And what
was the horror book they did?
Oh, crikey. I can't
Oh,
remember.
I can't remember. It was one of the horror series, which was all like like an inquisitor
based
in
around
a city.
Kurnoth,
It's all like
wasn't
Kurnoth being awakened, and that
Witchfinder,
was
wasn't
so
it? Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Very, very good. If you've not listened to the audiobooks of the horror stories or read the horror stories in Age of
definitely that
Sigmar,
one.
do so. They're good.
Kurnoth.
Right, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to hit the old zoom button. I'm going to put my hand on there for scale right now, so we know that we're going to be. Yeah, that should do it. Let's have a look at some of these models. I want to start with this.
Start big.
Start big before we go home. So this is the Varg Sky. Now, bear in mind, we've not really done any touching up on the joins or anything like that. But saying that, there's not much in there. I mean, you can kind of see a little bit of a join there, but only because it's fur. That would never show, if you know what I mean. Whereas, believe it or not, that arm is a separate piece. That piece of skin is a join. So that's how good these models are, mate. They're just stunning. That is an amazing model.
It's quite
I
big.
love it. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's just zoom out a wee bit. And put him. Yeah.
Witch
there you
Hunter
go.
for
There
reference.
you go. Look. Oi.
You'd be pretty scared, I think,
Yeah,
running for you.
definitely. But look, he's just holding his shoulder going, there's in. They're just trying to get in the bar. That's all they're trying to do, look.
That's all I do.
Yeah. I got a feeling those guys won't get on too well with their...
Probably not. It's probably somebody new, to be honest.
So yeah, absolutely beautiful model. Really love it. Can't wait to get that painted. And in fact, it's the first thing I'm going to do. And I think I'm going to Series D that bad boy.
Sounds good.
Yeah. What else do we want to have a look at, Jay?
Should we do Graveskeeper? Because he's the one that everybody loves. He's kind of got the... a bit blurred there. Oh, there we go. Kind of got very much like a Silent Hill feel to him, Pyramid Head-esque. Very, very cool. Very creepy.
Very creepy. Love that giant spade.
I must say that is something I've been thoroughly impressed with. Is the scary aesthetic that they have actually managed to get across with these models. These models do look scary.
Yeah.
They are quite intimidating and very weird and disturbing to look at.
Yeah, and they don't really have that heroic scale feel to them. They feel a little bit more true scale. They're not, but you know, they do feel along those lines. This is the bit I was talking about with the model. Absolutely love it. Like Altharian in the Lumineth range, you've got this bottom sort of leg pauldron going off down here.
Connected
And,
by this
and although it's not, it looks like it's just connected by the bone. And I think that's what's stunning about that, is if you can see that bone just going down the leg there, the upper thigh bone. Yeah, I think that's connected to the knee bone, maybe.
Yeah, and if I'm
Or the
right,
hip
the
bone.
knee bone's connected to the
Thigh
ankle bone.
Oh, yeah, something like that.
Maybe. Yeah, you're right. I did just miss
These
out
are
on the
useful
time.
necromantic skills that everybody should rely on. Is the basic rhyme of how to put your dudes back together. The interesting point from Twisted Bishop there. The mask reminds me so much of the mouth of Sauron. Yeah, good point. Yeah, very cool. Although it's got that a little bit of what was the Del Toro movie, the Spanish under the
Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of Pan's Labyrinth feel to it as well, hasn't it? Here we go. I want to talk about the big ogre for a bit. We need to clean up his arm though.
Yeah. No, that's a vein.
No, there's a little bit of a joint there. We'll talk about. Yeah, but let's talk about that. That was the point I wanted to point out. Look at the vein on the arm, etc. These are just great levels of detail. Like I say, painter's dream, really. Imagine what you could do with the armor. In fact, grab the big guy. Grab the big vampire. I just want to show that point of kind of, you know, let's just put them two side by side. As you can see, very much, although similar in
He's
size.
bulked out with his coat, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just bulked out with his coat, basically. And his fop hair. He's got this beautiful hair, look. I think that's actually his hat, but I like to pretend that's just loads of hair. It's kind of amount of hair I'd like to see on my head. Yeah, lots of wolves, but either way, just stunning models. Very impressed with the level of detail. Do we want to look at him a little bit more, because he is the big bad guy? That wolf cloak, you know, I mean, he's got to have the strength of a vampire to just carry that bad boy around, doesn't he?
Just two wolf pelts on his back.
Love this little bit of detail on the base as well, the little vines coming up through the ground.
Yeah.
I think that's stunning. What else have we got, Jack? What's your favourite? Let's pick out your favourite.
Well, my favourite's the Witch
Oh,
Hunter.
he's back
Definitely.
on.
We'll
Let's
look
have a
at
look at the Witch Hunter.
Because I do love him. It was always an aesthetic I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's great.
The stake launcher, which is...
Yeah, and his spare stakes. We've got a bit of cleaning up to do on this model before we get painting. None of them are fastened to their bases, by the way. The great news is they have little hexagonal pins. So if you want to get playing the game and paint it as you go along. But, you know, we've just popped them on their bases just for the review purpose. But as you can see, it will make its way off. And then we can take them off for painting. We haven't painted... Obviously, we haven't left them as multi-part, though. We have constructed them. None of them really... You know, I'm sure if you were entering Golden Demon, you might paint them in separate parts, but you can kind of get to most of the detail on the models anyway. This is the priest, isn't it?
Yeah, she's the healer. She's like the cleric.
Very cool. Very cool. By the way, that face is stunning as well. I don't think I can kind of show it in much more detail than that. But the detail on the face is amazing. It's got a real character to it. Which again I've talked about, like I think this is just like another level in terms of model design. You know, I think the Atlantic Miniature guys do incredibly characterful faces. You know, they're really good at putting character into the faces, and there's only half a face showing there and there's still a bunch of character in that face. Really good. Right,
we got these things which are very cool, kind of remind me of like
super fast though, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. They're kind of like
it's like Naruto.
Quicklings, I think they're called.
Is it a Naruto run?
Naruto.
Naruto, is it? Right, okay. I'm not cool enough to do that, Jack. Yeah, so these are the Bloodborne, aren't they?
Yeah, they're like weird half spawn. They're super fast, like elven almost. I just come in and got these incredibly thin rapier-like swords.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Just seeing that from above, look. Stunning. Love the hand reaching out on that. That's a great pose, isn't it? Just that pose there is just brilliant. What else we got? So we got Bloodborne in there.
The skeletons, I think, are worth talking about. They're really nice models. I want to say the rust on the blades is really good, even though the blades are incredibly thin and, well, yeah, just thin. The rust is really good. They're kind of the pock marks on the edge and stuff.
Little straps on the back of the sword, shields.
Yeah.
As you can see, going into the hand. It's all in there, isn't it? All the detail is there. Nice bit of leg bone there. That's the shin bone. I believe connected to the knee bone. But yeah, just great models. You're going to have so much fun with these people. You know, whether you're just contrasting them up or whether you're going for it.
Big ogre zombie is really
Come on,
cool.
let's just have a look at this ogre zombie next to it. Again, this is that upright, more human stance to them. You know, clearly a zombie though. You know, he's not.
Yeah.
He's had better days.
And again, he's got that very like Russian hat on, which I really like.
Definitely need some cleanup on the cloak there, but you know that's not a problem. Again, we've got this sort of Cossack look to it all. The wolf's pelt over the neck and draped around the neck, and these huge choppy axes.
Yeah, very much like an execution.
Can we have the second one of that, actually? I want to make the comparison between those two, because they make a great pair. Just fantastic. And again,
they're meant to be like the bodyguards.
You just want to have some fun in a narrative mission. Just take those two as bodyguards to your main hero in the Death Army. Yeah. You know?
Although you can't. They all have to be taken as one thing.
Oh, they do, don't they?
Yeah, very strange.
Criminal.
All the characters have to be taken as like one big group, but...
I forgot about that. Oh,
little Zombodies, which are very cool, kind of got their graves still attached on them.
yeah, it's kind of like tied around their neck sort of thing, maybe. Yeah. Not really. He's got a noose around his neck, hasn't he? I mean, let's go back to the Spady dude, because he's actually lifting one out the ground as he's just, oi, get up.
Yeah, here we go. That's
and you know, and they kind of just come up.
Big meat hooks as well.
I love the fact they're carrying their little grave markers around.
Yeah, why not? Quite useful. I'd say I really like the Chamberlain with all the kind of the one that creates all the familiars and the rats and resurrects them all. I think he's meant to be like the chief necromancer.
Fantastic. What a model. What an incredible model. I love the fact there's a dagger. It looks like it's holding on to it's like stabbed in his back. but it's actually not. It's just pinning a few sheets to a board. Yes, it is meant to be in his bag. I don't think so. You can see the point of the dagger coming out the other side. It's just used it to pin it together. A few little familiars around. Love a good old candlestick with a bit of drippy wax.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Winner, chicken dinner every time. The bat hanging upside down as well. Just doing the classic bat pose.
Classic bat. That's what bats do.
Oh, the stake through the zombies connecting them to their gravestone is what makes it work. There you go. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah, you can actually see like he fell off his base.
Look at that.
You can see kind of the stake going through into them.
Oh yes, yeah,
that
there you go.
Sense. That works.
Just like wake up, basically. Time to do.
They still got like this one's got like all roots growing through him, which is really cool.
Yeah, he's a bit of a mess, isn't he? Bless him. Oh dear, right out of his eye socket as well. That could come.
No, don't.
Yeah, bless him. Right, what else have we got in here? Let's have another one of these rather dramatic model poses. And this is what I mean by this is great for painters. What a stunning model. You imagine just doing that as a centerpiece painting. It's just beautiful, isn't it? Everything is fantastic on here.
All got very dynamic poses as well, which is cool.
So good. So good. Right.
Rat swarms. I quite like the rat swarms.
The best rat swarms ever.
Might be worth it if you're a Skaven player as well, because to be honest, they can probably pass as Skaven rats.
Only because there's so much detail on these, aren't they? And they overlap really well. Look, they're not... You know when there's a temptation to just blur all the detail into one big blob? Well, you can pick out each individual rat. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Love
the
it.
tails. I quite like the bats as well. Again, you could probably put a couple of these on one big base to make a bat
Just
swarm.
going to use that as a comparison of size again, just so you've got an idea. But it's a big old bat.
Yeah.
But again, great models. Great for conversion. But, the problem is getting hold of this kit. As we know, it's already sold out within minutes of it going up. But no doubt they'll restock. They did with Blackstone Fortress, didn't they?
I think so.
Okay, here we go. Here's a little tiny focus. You can do it. There's a little zombie cat. Bless it. Not very happy. Look, hissing with its tail up high. Kind of. Anyway. Oh no. Come off the base. As I said, we've not attached them down. Should we have a look at the rest of the characters just quickly, because I think it's worth focusing on them. Here's the Caradron Overlord.
Doesn't have his helmet on, but does have his metal beard.
What? Yeah, really interesting. So, like some of the Space Marines, the top of the helmet detaches. So you've got the bottom of the helmet, the beard, the bit round the ears. Look,
kind of the respirator on it,
and then the rest pops off. Although maybe it just doesn't have it, because there is no, there's no top of the helmet hanging off the belt or anything like that. Maybe he got knocked off. Who knows?
Maybe he left it on the ship.
Does a lot of damage, this guy. He's an interesting dude.
But yeah, it's got a big sky bike.
Whoa. Here we go. So
this one's
is
kind of the
rogue trader.
noble. I think he was a noble. And he's got a bunch of heirloom weapons with him.
Of course, yes, it was once his city or his family's city, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So time to get Rwenge.
It's kind of I like his little flintlock pistol. The knight Azeros, the knight of Azira, though, with her griffin cloak, plate armor. I like her.
Another just stunning model. Wow. And again, look, a lot of detail, a lot of character in the face, a lot of shape to the face, which I really like to see.
Yep. You got the Death Wizard with his super long beard and his very ghoulish face, could easily be mistaken as a necromancer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And could even be used as a necromancer in anybody's Soulblight armies.
All of these are conversion fodders for sure.
And then lastly, the archer,
the Kanofi. Ciao. Again, stunning pose. Very Daughters of Caney pose, actually.
Yeah, jumping off something.
Jumping off the rock, but, still good to see. Would love to see more of them, please.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that kind of gets us through the box. Other than to kind of say, let's just, woo! Widen that out a bit, just so you've got a. I mean, this is still the stuff we haven't covered, and I'm still zooming out. Look, whoa, there you go.
Yeah,
so that's all the stuff we haven't
covered. There's a lot
covered.
of like gravesite markers and random bits of familiars.
Look at that though.
Yeah, hanging skeleton.
What's great is one of the hanging skeletons that's pointing the way is actually scratching his chin. You know what? We're going to zoom back in because it's worth it, and we're pretty much near the end of the show, I think. But I just want to zoom back in because there he is. Like, is it left or right? And he's like, oh, hold on, I've gone too far.
Gone too far.
Yeah, look, it's just like, oh, I don't know, maybe that
not
way.
Not sure.
Maybe that way. That way. Yeah, just great. It's such a good model. There you go. We're probably, you know, what else do we need to cover really? Without getting into the game mechanic, I don't want to get too much into the game mechanic at this stage. Games Workshop have released the how to play.
Yeah.
And it pretty much
really
explains
useful.
it.
Yeah.
It's a smart game system. You were impressed by it. You were kind of saying this is quite clever.
Yeah,
you roll all your dice up front, and then you allocate.
You roll all your dice at the start of the turn, and then you have to like decide what actions you're doing with those dice and stuff. So I think that's quite interesting. Very
kind of
resource management. You
yeah.
have like Destiny dice as well, which is kind of like a group pool, kind of like the Soulfire in the Soulbound RPG. And you kind of pull from that pool if you need to do extra actions on that turn and things like that. So you can do like gambits to try and rearrange the initiative order, and like certain weapons do certain dice of damage and stuff like that. So it is really good.
I forgot about the little gargoyle, by the way, which is just a cute, really cute little model. You need to do that. We will. Twisted Bishops has said, would you guys consider doing a Cursed City playthrough? Absolutely. We plan to. We're going to cover this. We're pretty excited by this.
Yeah.
So this is the plan right now. We think we've roped Mrs. Wargamer Online to actually play the game with us. Because obviously we're still in a lockdown. And 2 players is okay, but 3 players is better.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether she's realised what she's agreed to, but she's agreed to it.
So.
I thought about titling the entire series, Can Cursed Cities be a gateway drug into Age of Sigmar? Can you imagine your mum just like full on 10,000 point death army?
Oh, yeah, she would. Like, to be honest, mentioning that... It is one of those games. If you're a big war gamer and a bunch of your friends are kind of like board games and war games, and you kind of want to, board games and role play games, and you want to meet in the middle, this is perfect for that. Yeah. You know, because it is a great mixture of miniature gaming and role play and board games and everything like that.
And dungeon bashing.
And kind of stuff like that. So it does work by one of you does have to be kind of the games master, and you roll for the random, because all the bad guys randomly act, so you don't really choose how they act. You have to roll to see how they act and things like that, and you kind of can keep it secret, and they can kind of bring more models back and throw them at the enemies and stuff like that. And depending on where you go, and there's like different points of interest you can go to, and you might discover realm stone or artifacts of power, but then again a bunch of zombies might just crawl up at your feet at you and things like that. So it is really good, and it's one of those things where they've done a very good job in making sure your actions have consequences. So, you know, it is a rolling story that will, what you do will influence the outcome of the story and things like that.
Which is brilliant. I like that idea. So yeah, that's the plan really. I think it will probably, we'll do the playthrough, and depending how it goes, it might be a patron only video. We might release them on YouTube, but I think maybe YouTube will just focus on the main battle reports and stuff like that. So it might be just something we do for the patrons, and we may even do the sessions just like live for the patrons, so they can comment and join in the fun as we go along really, and which would be kind of giggle. We've been threatening to do some live shows for our patrons in terms of playthroughs as well, so why don't we just do that? I think that's something. And also, what we planned to do was pretty much what we discussed really. We might just start playing with the raw plastic models and paint them as we go along or something, rather than kind of put off, we'll see you in 8 weeks when we've got all of these painted. Because it feels like I don't want to rush through and just contrast them. They're just stunning models, so part of me wants to spend some time, but the other thing is maybe we just get them done, certainly all the Death and the Rats and stuff like that maybe, and then work through some of the characters. All of that to be decided, but what we were hoping to do was maybe even on Monday to do a short live show or something like that. At the very least, setting up and getting into it and sort of saying, okay, now we're kind of ready to play the first mission or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, look forward to that, and hope you've enjoyed the look through. Yes, we focused on the models. Wargammer Online is very much focused on all aspects of the hobby, and I have to say my passion first and foremost started with the models. And when you get 60 models and every single one of them is a work of art, I think we're going to talk about that. It's as simple as that. They are great models. So I hope that you managed to pick up a copy. I know Coleman out there didn't manage to get one. Hopefully, though, I think one of the other patrons maybe even offered to help him out, because he said he might be getting two, in which case he was going to do the decent thing as well and just do it as cost plus postage. Perfect. I like that. No, whatever. I can't even know what the term is. Sniping? Swiping? Swiper? No, swiping. Who knows what it is? Scalping, I think that's the term, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's fantastic, and if you're out there and you did get multiple copies of this, then share them out. Unless, of course, you definitely want all of the models and you're going to do something with them, which I'd kind of understand. We're definitely going to be playing this. We're definitely going to be excited, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll see you in the next battle report. If you're watching this on YouTube, new battle report tomorrow. If you're a patron watching this, which, hello, I know you're out there. Twisted Bishop says live game sounds great. I think a live stream would do really well without any painting needed. There you go. There you go. We've got permission to do it. I'm happy with that. If we've got Twisted Bishop saying it's okay. Of course, if you're watching this, you've already seen the notification of the battle report that went up for you guys yesterday or this morning. I think it was meant to be yesterday. It may have been this morning. No, it was yesterday. It was yesterday it went live. We were a day late because I messed something up. Right. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye all. This video is made possible by our patrons. If you want to know more about how to support us, click on the link to the right.